Hey everybody, Vicarious Viking here with another Binding of Isaac Rebirth teaser update. The main focus of this video is to talk about how much bigger Rebirth is compared to the original game. So first off, the original Binding of Isaac plus Wrath of the Lamb boasted 198 items. Currently, Rebirth features well over 450 items, and this is just talking about the pedestal items. This isn't talking about the more common item pickups like the little battery, the black heart, the new card types, and a lot of double items like the key ring. Rebirth will also feature over 50 new enemies and will also include the addition of color-specific champion variations that each have their own unique way of trying to kill you. If you'd like to see a video on those, there will be a link in the description. Rebirth will feature 15 plus new bosses, but a new and, according to Edmund, very fun addition to these bosses are the Double Trouble boss fights, kind of like a curse for the boss rooms that forces you to fight two previous chapter bosses at once in a larger room. So for example, in the caves, if you get a Double Trouble boss fight, you'll be fighting two bosses from the basement. In the depths, you'll be fighting two bosses from the caves, etc, etc. And all this sounds really pretty cool to me, but just imagine being in the womb and having to fight something like two bloats, or even worse, two masks of infamy. Oh man, that would be terrible. Let me draw your attention to the GIF on screen. This just shows Isaac fighting a pair of pins in the aforementioned Double Trouble boss fight. You'll see he's got Little Gish, he's got Mr. Boom, and everything looks like pretty standard stuff, but once he gets towards the top of the room, you can notice there's some light rays shining down, and that's all I wanted to point out actually. But they look really cool, and I think they're going to look obviously a lot better in the game and not just a low quality GIF. Also, I really like how when Mr. Boom goes off, your keys, coins, and bombs all shake. Moving on, Edmund's personal favorite huge addition to Rebirth is the number of new rooms and the control he now has over each one. For those of you that don't know, Isaac's levels are composed of randomly selected rooms placed in a map that forms a... Everybody knows that. Okay, the old game featured 150 rooms per chapter, so the basement, 150 rooms, caves, 150 room types, the depths, 150 room types. You get the idea. But Rebirth is going to boast well over 500 rooms per chapter, and that is not counting larger rooms as one room. Oh, sorry, that is counting larger rooms as one room. On top of all the new rooms, the new level editor allows him to do stuff he wasn't able to do before. He can now design rooms where the doors are turned off. This makes it so he can create more dramatic and cool looking areas. Speaking of cool looking areas, take a look at this GIF. It's really cool looking. There's like water trickling down the walls. There's a thin veil of mist all along the walls that's kind of moving along it. There's water dripping from the ceiling. There's that giant pool of water in the middle, and it looks so good. I can already imagine the womb having a room with a giant river of blood, or some new area in Rebirth having a big pool of slime. And there could even be enemies in these places that pop out and try to attack you. Rooms now also have a rarity associated with them, so Edmund can design a room that is as rare to generate as the error room is to find, and on top of all that, he's also now able to make anything in the room have a more rare alternative to it. So a good example of this, let's say you have a black heart in the middle of a room and it's surrounded by metal blocks. There's a chance that those metal blocks could instead just become rocks, making the heart that much more accessible. Edmund says that these aspects might seem minor, but they really allow for a seemingly endless game to really appear endless, and I'm inclined to agree because 500 room types per chapter is insanity. Like, it would be so hard to remember all those room layouts unless you're some kind of a room memorizing savant. Rebirth will also feature 5 new special room types like the arcade, the sacrifice room, the devil room, stuff like that. Unfortunately, he didn't spoil any of those, so we're gonna have to figure them out on our own, but he does assure us that they're quite cool, and looking forward to reading about what we think the hidden purpose of each is. Very mysterious. Lastly, multiple saves. This should make quite a few people happy, myself included. No more having to delete all of your progress if you want to start over, which is great. And on that note, that's going to end this Binding of Isaac Rebirth update. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of these, you can feel free to check out my channel. I have plenty over there. And if you'd like to be notified of when I come out with new ones, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you. You guys take care. My name's Vicarious Viking, and I will see you later.